Hello guys, hello everyone. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, type 111 in the live chat. I'm so sorry. So this is actually my first time going live on YouTube. I don't know how this live thing works on YouTube. So you guys should forgive me in advance in case I run into any technical confusion or any technical issues. So can you guys hear me clearly? Am I speaking loud enough? Can you guys hear me clearly? If you can hear me, type 111 in the community chat or live chat or whatever. So let's wait for maybe another 5 minutes. Let's wait for the others to join, okay? Hello Zainab. Oh, okay. Hello Miriam. How are you doing? Hello Jane. I'm so glad you people can hear me. Divine. Hello Flavia. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Flavia. Glad you're part of this too. Not just me. To like support. Next 2 minutes. We're not going to keep waiting for other people. So we'll be starting in the next 2 minutes. We'll be starting in the next 1 minute. Hello, just me. How about you wait for me to say what I want to say, and then you can go into asking me questions. You haven't even heard from me. Okay, guys. So the 5 minutes wait is over and we'll be starting right now. Hello everyone, my name is Mma. I'm pretty sure you could know me from TikTok. My name is Glory. My name is also Mma. Welcome to this live section. Excited to have all of you here. Okay. Um, so today I'm going to be talking about studying in China, scholarships in China, everything about life here in China. So whether you're applying for bachelor, master's, or PhD, right? Of course, there are certain things that I might not be able to show you, right? But I'm just going to give as much information as I can. So you guys are going to see me occasionally looking at my laptop because I have made so that I don't forget important things that you guys really need to know. If you stop hearing me at any point, if the network starts misbehaving at any point, please. So let's dive right into video or whatever. So I'm going to be talking about different types of scholarships here in China, right? So we have the full scholarship that covers accommodation, tuition, and stipend. We also have only tuition scholarship, and we have partial scholarships that cover part of the tuition and part of the accommodation, or sometimes only tuition. So as a matter of fact, different schools have different kinds of scholarships. So let me give you guys an example. So the full scholarship for a school, for a particular school, might be covering accommodation, tuition. But then you go to another version of full scholarship might be just accommodation and tuition. So what a scholarship is to school A is different from what a full scholarship is to school B. But then there are some general full scholarships, like full scholarships that are the same everywhere. Okay, and I'm going to be listing them out. So there is CSE scholarship. CSE scholarship has the same benefits in every school. Okay, and most of the schools here in China offer CSE scholarships. So CSE scholarship covers accommodation, tuition, monthly stipend, medical insurance. Okay, also ANSO scholarship. ANSO scholarship covers accommodation, monthly stipend, flights from your country to China and from China back to your country. Then there is also MOVCOM scholarship. MOVCOM scholarship covers everything, including flight as well. In fact, it will even give you money to, when you're in China, you'd like to travel and maybe visit other neighboring countries, right? MOVCOM scholarship will give you the flight ticket to visit some of these countries, do a little bit of traveling, okay? There are also university scholarships, like I mentioned earlier. There are university scholarships, and university scholarships are less competitive than the CS scholarship, ANSO scholarship, and MOVCOM scholarship. CSE scholarship is very competitive, and they are very strict when it comes to reviewing the academic documents or the academic qualifications. Okay, so let's assume now that you have a 4.1, right? 4.1 over 5.0 CGPA, whether for bachelor's or master's, is enough to get you a good scholarship. But there's every chance that a CSE scholarship with the 4.1 CGPA, okay? But you might get a full scholarship. So I'm going to give you guys an example of a university scholarship. So there's a school, I'm pretty sure some of you must have seen me posting about it. There's a school called Southwest University, right? So in Southwest University, a scholarship which covers accommodation, stipend, everything. Okay, then there's New Silk Road or President Scholarship, which covers only tuition and stipend for type A, and then the type B covers only tuition. Okay, so in comparison to CSE scholarship, this President or New Silk Road scholarship is less competitive, but it is still competitive because I'm not even gonna lie. For that scholarship alone, they got over 5,000 applications, so it's still very much competitive, right? So there is also CIS scholarship. So CIS scholarship is like the Chinese language scholarship. So if you're looking to come to China to study Chinese language, scholarship. But the problem with CIS scholarship is because it oh, the network is not stable. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Please, if you can hear me, can you indicate in the live chat? Mr. Fan, please, this is not the time for questions, okay? When I'm done talking, you can ask your questions so I don't get distracted. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so I was talking about CIS scholarship is for people who want to come here and study Chinese language, okay? But the issue with CIS scholarship is that you must have, okay, I don't think it's my network. If it's shaking on your own side, then it's not my network. So the issue with Chinese language scholarship is that you must have HSK, okay? HSK is not so easy to get. For you to write HSK exams, you must have studied Chinese for quite some time. So that's the reason Chinese language scholarship is not that competitive, but you must have HSK. So HSK is like a Chinese language proficiency certificate. HSK is equivalent to IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, okay? Is equivalent to that, but it's just the Chinese language version. So there is also provincial scholarships, right? In Chongqing, there's Chongqing Provincial Scholarship. There are other schools as well that have provincial scholarships. Let me see if I can check them out. There are provinces that have provincial scholarships here in China. You guys should hold on a bit. I wrote all these things down somewhere. So, but the issue with provincial scholarships is that most of them are not full scholarships. Yeah, most provincial scholarships are not full scholarships, and some of the provincial scholarships would require you to pay school fees first, and then by the end of the year, they will refund you the fees. Okay? Then a few of them cover full scholarships. A few of them actually have full scholarships. You guys should please hold on. Okay. So Zhu province has provincial scholarship. Jiangsu province has provincial scholarship. Shanghai, Beijing, Chongqing, all these places I'm mentioning, they have provincial scholarships. So provinces here are like government. If you're from Nigeria, you should like this scholarship is like local government scholarship. It's not at the national government level. It's at like the local government of a particular area. Okay, so let me take for instance now, if you're from Nigeria and you can relate. So let's say Lagos State, okay? So Lagos State giving you a scholarship is a Chongqing Provincial Scholarship. So some of these scholarships are full scholarships, while some of them are not. And the people that usually on the end of the full scholarships are usually masters and PhD students. See, if you're coming for masters or PhD in China, you have more chances of getting a scholarship than a bachelor student. That is the real truth. Okay. So now talk about the scholarship requirements. I've talked about different types of scholarships. I talked about CSC scholarship. I talked about MOVCOM scholarship. I talked about ANSO scholarship. Okay, I talked about CIS scholarship, also known as the Chinese language scholarship or the Confucius Institute scholarship. I talked about university scholarships. Now, different universities have different names for their university scholarship. Okay, I've talked about provincial scholarship. So you have Chongqing Municipality Scholarship, Shanghai Provincial Scholarship, Nanjing, Zhejiang, Beijing, all those places, they have provincial scholarships. Okay? I don't know. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what's going on. Can you guys hear me? I think the network issue might be on your own side because it's clear over here. Please, if you can hear me clearly, can you indicate? I really want everyone to hear what I'm saying. If you guys can hear me clearly, please. I'm going to wait. I want to know where the issue is from. Someone is tapping. There is no tapping. I'm the only one here. Nobody is tapping here. Okay. Okay, so let's resume. So yeah, I have mentioned all the scholarships, the provincial scholarships, CIS, university scholarship. So I was saying something about university scholarship. Different universities have different names for their university scholarship. So, for instance, I think Dalian, is it Dalian University of Technology has a called the entrance scholarship. I think it's Dalian University of Technology. One of these universities, right, has a university scholarship called the entrance scholarship. So that's an example of a university scholarship. Okay, and mind you, university scholarships usually have type A, type B, type C, depending on the benefit. So type A could cover full tuition and accommodation. Type B could cover only full tuition, while type C could cover only half tuition. Okay, so the best way to know the kind of scholarship you want to apply for is the website of the school. Okay, go to the website of the school you want to apply to. Look at the scholarships that school has, that particular school has. Look at the scholarships that the school has, and then look at the benefits of each scholarship. That will guide you so that you don't go and mistakenly apply for partial scholarship. So you applying for full scholarship doesn't mean you will get it. It doesn't mean you will get it. But the moment you go ahead to apply for a partial scholarship, a scholarship that you're clearly seeing that only covers half tuition and half accommodation, what you're telling them indirectly is that you're rich and you can afford to pay. So if you can afford to pay, if you can afford to go for a partial scholarship, they would assume you can afford to sponsor yourself all through. So they'll end up maybe giving you self. So no matter the kind of scholarship you're applying for, make sure you don't go for, always go for the full scholarships. Even if you cannot get it, if you think you can't get it, always go for the full scholarships. If they'll give you a partial scholarship, that's fine, but don't ever apply for a partial scholarship. So the best way to know if a scholarship is going to be covering everything, maybe it's going to be covering full tuition or full accommodation, or the both of them, is to go through the website of the school, right? Read up on the scholarships that they have, check their benefits very, very well, so that you will know the particular one that you will be applying to. So which brings me to scholarship requirements. So whether you're going for bachelor's or PhD or master's, right, there are different requirements. So I'm going to start with the general requirements. So for the general requirements, you need an international passport. Don't make the mistake of applying to a school without an international passport. I think some schools might allow you to do that, but don't make that mistake. Okay, you need an English language proficiency certificate. But the good thing about China is that China sees a lot of countries as English speaking countries. So you don't really need to take IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo. In fact, you don't need to take any English test. All you need to do is to go to your previous school, tell your school to give you English proficiency certificate. Basically, what this certificate will contain is your school confirming in that certificate that you studied in English, that you can understand, you can write English, you can speak English, and you studied in English. That's just what that certificate is all about. Then you would also need a study plan, right? For bachelor's, master's, and PhD, you need a study plan. Then for master's and PhD, you need research proposals, okay? Then for PhD alone, to increase your chances of getting any scholarship at all, you need to have one publication. You need to have published a paper, all right? Then you also need a certificate called non-criminal record. I don't know what you people call it in your country, but in Nigeria we call it police character certificate. All right. Then you need a physical examination form. I'm going to be sending the form on the group chats. I'll be sending the form to you guys over there. You need a physical examination form. So this examination form is something you take to the hospital, any hospital at all, whether private or general hospital. Just make sure the hospital is registered. You take the physical examination form to the hospital, and then you give it to a doctor. The doctor will run some of the tests on that form, and then the doctor will fill it out for you, sign their name, and stamp it. That is all. Okay? You also need a bank statement. I noticed that recently, especially this year, a lot of schools introduced the concept of bank statement or proof of funds. Even if you apply, they want to be sure that you can take care of yourself here in case anything happens. In case you lose your scholarship, maybe you are not being serious enough and you end up losing your scholarship, or they want to make sure you can sponsor your travel, because like I said, most of these scholarships don't cover flight fare. They will not cover your flight ticket, okay? And there have been situations whereby people were given scholarships and they couldn't come to China because they couldn't afford paying for their flights or paying for whatever, or even paying for their visa. So that bank statement is to assure them that yes, you can afford to even leave your country and come to China, and you can afford to take care of certain things. If you've watched some of my videos, you must have seen where I said, even if you're on China, when you're coming to China, you come empty-handed, because there are things you'll be paying for here in China. So that bank statement is very important to schools. A lot of schools have introduced it. So if you're going to be applying to study here, whether on scholarship or self-taught, you need a bank statement. Okay? You would also need the highest degree certificate that you have, and you need to notarize it. So let me explain. If you're going for bachelor's degree, right, you need to have your high school certificate and your high school transcript. Take, for instance, people in West Africa. Our high school certificate is called WAEC. You guys know that, right? It is called WAEC. So you would need your WAEC, and then you will also need your high school or secondary school transcript. For those of you who don't know what transcript is a compilation of all the subjects you did in your senior secondary school and the scores that you got in these subjects. So from your senior secondary school, first term, second term, third term, all the subjects you did, and then their scores, the scores you got in these subjects. That's the compilation. Like, it will be compiled in one document. That is what a transcript is. So if you apply for bachelor's degree, you need a secondary school transcript and you need a secondary school leaving certificate. So for West Africans, it is called WAEC. For Nigerians, you can, if you don't have WAEC. A lot of schools here accept NECO. Okay? Then for master's students, you need your bachelor's degree certificate and your bachelor's. For PhD students, you need your bachelor's certificate, your master's degree certificate, and your master's transcript. For PhD, bachelor's degree certificate, master's degree certificate, master's degree transcript. These are the academic documents that you need. Now, in terms of your academic documents, most schools would require you to do what they call notarization. Okay? So notarization is you taking your academic certificate to a notary court or a notary body or a notary lawyer. You would usually find them in a high court or federal court. If I go to any court around you and tell them that I want to notarize my academic documents, okay? So they're going to put like a red seal and stamp on it. So some schools would require you to notarize your document. So the best thing for you to do is just get your academic documents, your certificate and your transcript, and just go and notarize them. All right? It's going to be more credible if your certificates are notarized. So for the notarization, let me explain myself again. Let's assume you're from West Africa, right? You take your WAEC results, you photocopy it, you take your high school or secondary school transcript, you photocopy it, and then you take it to a court and tell them, you take both the original and the photocopy, okay? Tell them, hello, my name is Glory. I want to notarize my academic documents. If they don't do notarization, they are definitely going to direct you to where you will notarize it. Once you get there, you give it to them, you pay them the money, and they notarize it for you. Simple as that. And I don't advise you notarize your original document. I don't know why, but just do the photocopy. Okay? Then you would also need CV. Yes, curriculum vitae. You need a CV. Whether you're going for bachelor's, whether you're going for bachelor's degree or you're going for master's degree, you're going for PhD, some schools request you upload a CV, okay? And when it comes to uploading a CV, this is an academic CV, but you need to make sure that on that CV, there is no timeline, there is no duration of you being idle. See, Chinese people are very hardworking. Like, you cannot harder than them actually. They are very, like, I know you people think they are very smart, but most of their success comes from the fact that they are very, these people would literally work them to death. They are very hardworking. Okay, so if there is a period of time on your CV that is unaccounted for, it's going to affect your application. So let's take, for instance, you finished school in 2024 July, right? And that's where your CV ended. Like, that's it. You didn't do any other thing again from that 2024 till now. Like, you're not doing, you didn't account for that time. You didn't say, oh, maybe I was taking a course, I was learning a skill, or maybe I was working somewhere. If you don't account for that period of time, right, they're going to assume you're lazy, for real. And they wouldn't want to grant any kind of scholarship to a lazy student. So when you're writing your CV, make sure that every period of time is accounted for. Even if you were not doing anything, make up something. Basically, don't leave. They would usually write it on their website that you shouldn't leave 6 months period unaccounted for. What it means is that maybe by February, the last time you held a job, or the last time you attended for a skill, you went for a skill, or the last time you graduated from school was February of this year, and then from that February till now, you were not doing anything. They don't want that. Okay, so you would also need a CV. What else? What else? So for those of you that are below 18, because I get these questions a lot. Those of you that are below 18, you would need a guide in China. Okay, so you can either get a foreigner that is living in China, but the person is working, to be your guardian, or you get a Chinese person. But as long as you're below 18, you need a guardian to even apply to the school. You need a guardian. So, and it's not so easy to get. It's really, it's not it's not very easy to get. I'm not even going to lie. I usually don't work with people below 18 because the whole guardian thing is stressful, really. Okay, so in terms of academic qualifications, right? If you're going for master's scholarship and you want scholarship, you need to have at least 4.0 over 5.0, right? Or 3.0 over 4.0. That's if you're going for master's scholarship, okay? If you're going for PhD scholarship, your CGPA doesn't really matter. As long as you have good publications, you'll get a PhD scholarship. Then if you're going for bachelor scholarship, you need to have a lot of A's in your results. Take for instance WAEC. This is for those people from West Africa, okay? You're going for bachelor's full scholarship. You need to have a lot of A's. And I have said this so many times. There aren't a lot of full scholarship bachelor students. That's the truth. Because most of the courses for bachelor students are not offered in English. They are offered in Chinese. So those ones that are offered in English are highly sought after. Like, they are very, very competitive. So I don't know if you guys saw the video that I made. A school can have like 40 bachelor courses for bachelor students, 40. And out of the 40, only 5 of the courses will be offered in English. So it's very, very competitive. If you're going for full scholarship, bachelor's degree, your result needs to stand out. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you people. If your result doesn't have a lot of, especially like your high school leaving certificate, okay, I don't know what, I know what it is in some countries, but I've forgotten, right? The final exam you write when you're about to graduate from secondary school or from high school, whatever it is called in your country, that particular exam is very important. If you don't have a lot of A's in that exam, there are chances that your chances of getting a full scholarship is very slim. There are chances that you might end up getting a scholarship that will cover only your tuition, or get scholarship that will cover half tuition, half accommodation. If you don't have that kind of result that has a lot of A's in it, okay? Another thing is your transcript as well. Your transcript needs to be good. So if you were scoring, if you were not doing well during your secondary school, right? Like in your transcript, you were scoring P's, P, F, and then all of a sudden during your final secondary school or high school, you passed very well. It's not going to click. They are going to think something is wrong, because you can't be failing all through secondary school. They are literally looking at your transcript. You're getting F, E, D, and then all of a sudden you performed magic. It was harsh, but if the two results, if they're not closely, how do I put it? If they don't tally, right? They're just going to assume there's an error somewhere, right? Especially with the reputation Africa has. Africa has a reputation for corruption and whatnot. They're going to assume that the final result is result, because I mean they are looking at the secondary school transcripts and it's not really that good. Okay, so make sure that if you really want a full scholarship, your high school transcript is really okay, and your final secondary school or high school certificate is also okay. That would really guarantee you a full scholarship. Now, another easier way of getting a full scholarship for bachelor students is to go through Chinese programs. There are some programs that have 1 year Chinese learning, mandatory 1 year Chinese learning, right? And then after that 1 year Chinese learning, you will now go ahead and start your normal degree or your normal program. So take for instance nursing. You want to go for nursing? I think nursing in China is 4 years, right? 4 years nursing. If you're going for 1 + 4 years program, it means that you go for 1 year Chinese language program, and then you now go for 4 years nursing. So this would help you learn Chinese, and then it also means that when you're now learning, when you're now studying nursing, you will not be taught in English. You will be taught that nursing in Chinese. I don't know if you guys don't understand anything, just write down the question somewhere so that when I'm done, you can ask me questions. Okay, so if it's easier to get Chinese taught courses, like I said, you will see a school that has 40 courses for bachelor students, right? And out of the 40, only 5, so the remaining 35 are not that competitive. That's the truth. If you can actually learn Chinese, either maybe come here and do 1 year Chinese program, learn Chinese very well, and then you go for the Chinese taught course, your chances of getting a scholarship is higher. That's the truth. Even if you're going for self-sponsored, Chinese taught programs are cheaper. They are more affordable than English taught programs. Like a Chinese taught program for a particular course might be 15,500 RMB, and then for English taught course, that same course, you will be seeing 22,000 RMB, 25,000 RMB, 20,000 RMB. Okay, so Chinese taught courses are usually way cheaper, and they are less competitive. So there is CSC for Chinese. There's also CSC for Chinese language and 4 years bachelor's degree. That's the only, because on a normal, right, CSC scholarship is mostly for master's students and PhD students. CSC scholarship is not available for English taught courses, bachelor's degree. What I mean is that you cannot apply for CSC scholarship if you're going for an English taught course as a bachelor's student. So you want to apply for nursing, English taught nursing, you cannot apply for CSC scholarship. That's if you're a bachelor student. If you're a master student or PhD student, you can apply for English taught courses for CSC, but you can't do that because it's not available. Okay, but if you want to go for Chinese taught programs, right, CSC scholarship is available. It means that you have to do 1 year Chinese, and you have to learn, like you have to study in Chinese. So it also means that you need to do double the work because you're learning in a second language. It's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm not even going to lie. It's going to be difficult, especially if you're already going for a difficult course. So that's why a lot of people don't even like going through that route, okay? Because you're doing double study. You have to be, even after passing the 1 year Chinese language program and you start your normal program, your normal, let's say your normal nursing or medicine. No, there's no scholarship for medicine. You start your maybe computer science, engineering, business administration, whatever, right? You still have to keep learning Chinese because you need to understand what you're studying. You'll be writing your exams in Chinese. Like you'll be doing a lot of things in Chinese. So it's not easy. It's going to be very, very stressful for you and quite hard. So, but if you think you can do it, there's nothing human beings cannot do. If you think you're up for it, then CSC scholarship for bachelor student, it is actually called CSC scholarship type A. So if you think you're up for it, you can go for the CSC scholarship type A. But CSC scholarship type B is for masters and PhD students offering courses in English. While type A is for courses in Chinese, courses taught in Chinese. And as a bachelor student, that is the only type you can actually apply for. Okay, so moving on. When it comes to applying for scholarship, right, aside from your academic qualifications, that's your academic certificate and your transcript, there are other things that can help you, that can help support your application. So take for instance, maybe you've won awards in school, you've gone for a competition, you were given a certificate of participation or whatever, you've gone for a debate. All these activities in school where they give you certificates or awards, right? You can attach that to your application. It's going to help boost your application. Okay, or maybe you've written articles before, or you've published papers. Even as a master student, it's not mandatory, it's not compulsory for you to publish paper. Even as a you're just coming out from secondary school. But if you have maybe, all these online articles that you write on, I don't know if you guys Medium. There's a social media platform called people write, like that's where people write articles and just post it there, right? If you have articles there, you can link it up. Or let's assume you're going for computer science, and maybe after schooling, after your secondary school, you were able to learn some skills, able to learn web design, and you design some stuff for people. You have a portfolio of work you've done for people. You can attach that to your application. Okay, if you have a job experience in that course that you're going for bachelor's degree, or you're going for master's degree, or you're going for PhD, you attach all, like the evidence, you attach it to your application. Is going to help you a lot. Okay, another thing that will also help you a lot is taking professional courses. You see Coursera, especially courses that you didn't really, you look at your certificate, there are certain courses you didn't really do very, very well in those courses, just take them on Coursera. And then you also check out the courses that you'll be offering. So let's assume you're going for computer science. I know um, there is mathematics in computer science, there's Python, all those core subjects that make up computer science, right? You take the courses online, maybe take it on Coursera, take it on, I don't really like Udemy, I don't know why. You could take it on Allison, Coursera, other things, okay? So the cocoa here is that if you're taking online courses, look at your result. Those courses you didn't really do very well in, take online courses on them, and then the subjects you'll be doing, the core subjects that the course you apply for in China, the core subjects that make up that course. If you don't know the core subjects, go online and ask and research what are the core subjects for nursing, what are the core subjects for computer science, what are the core subjects for geology, for artificial intelligence, all those things. Get those core subjects and take them online, get their certificates and use it to support your application. It's going to go a long way for you, trust me. So let's assume that they checked my other academic qualifications, and then they checked another person's own, and then have certificates like online certifications, and the person doesn't have, and maybe my CGPA and the person's CGPA came to a tie, like maybe 4.0, 4.0. But for the fact that I have those online certifications, or maybe I have award or competition certificates, all those other stuff that I just, packed in my applications, for the fact that I have those things, right? They are going to give me the scholarship and drop the other person. That's basically how it works. So I need you guys to see this scholarship of a thing as a competition pool. A competition pool. Okay? It's basically survival of the fittest. And for you to be very fit, you need to arm your, don't just give them the requirements that they asked for. Look for things that can support your application. Which brings me to English proficiency. Now, English proficiency is not like taking IELTS or TOEFL or whatever. It's not compulsory, right? But if you have a proper English proficiency certificate like IELTS, if you have it, it will boost your chances of getting any scholarship at all. I'm not going to promise you that if you have IELTS, you're going to get a full scholarship. No, but it's going to boost your chances of having or getting any scholarship at all. Do you understand? So any way you can help yourself support your application, make sure that it gives you like chances of beating the other competition. Just do that. That's basically how it works. Okay, so I talked about extra credentials that can help you. Let me repeat them again. If you have publications or you have articles that you've written, fine. If you have online courses and their certificates, it will help you. If you have award or competition certificates, it's also going to help you. If you have job experience in your course of study, the course you want to study, or the area of your study, right? You have job experience in that area, it's going to help you. So maybe you're going for engineering, electrical engineering, and you've had like job experience, doing all this wiring and electrical work for people. You write it down in your study plan. If you have evidence for it, pictures or whatever, you put it in your applications, it will help you. Okay, and another thing that I need to put out there is that as long as you're looking for a scholarship, right? Because this is a question that I get from a lot of you. Somebody can just message me and tell me, I want to go to it's so funny. I want to go to Beijing University of Foreign Studies, I want to go to Tianjin University, that is where I want to study. As long as you're applying for scholarship, you don't have a say. You don't tell yourself, oh, I want to study in this school. I want to study in Chongqing University. I want to study in Yunnan Normal University, and that's where I must study. When I get messages like that, most times I don't usually respond, because you're looking for a scholarship, you're not looking to sponsor yourself. And as long as you're looking for a scholarship, it's a game of numbers. If you're looking for a scholarship, you don't just apply to one university and then you sit down and fold your hands. It doesn't work like that. It's a game of numbers. You apply to as many as you can. That's the truth. You're not the only one applying for this scholarship. You're not. In my school alone, we had more than 15,000 applications. And out of these 15,000 applications, about 13,000 of them were applying for scholarships. So imagine where 13,000 something people are applying for scholarship. So you're not the only one applying. Which brings me to another point. I also need you guys to understand that not everyone will get a full scholarship, and not everyone will get a scholarship at all. Because once people message me, the first thing is, oh, how can I apply for a scholarship? Not everyone will get a scholarship, because if it were that easy to get, a lot of people will be getting it. These schools, they also want to make money as well. They do. They also want to make money as well. As a matter of fact, the schools that I have agency contracts with, they prioritize self-funding students. The requirements are lower for self-funding students. It's a business, okay? Like, these are schools. And they admitting international students, they are not doing it for fun. They also want to make money. So I need you to understand that not everybody will get a scholarship, and not everybody will get a full scholarship. Because I have told a lot of people, oh, your result is not strong enough for a full scholarship. Like, literally told the truth. And I would even ask them, do you have this? Do you have that? I'm very sure if some of you have actually messaged me, you can testify to this. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this certificate? Do you have this award? Do you have these courses? Guinea call, all of them. And the person tells me no. And then I'm looking at your results and I'm telling you, this result is not strong enough to get you a full scholarship. And I've literally had somebody get so angry, telling me, but another agent told me that I can do this. And I'm like, no problem. Go and meet that other agent. So I'm going to tell you people the reason why not everybody can get a scholarship, so that you don't fall into that scam of thinking, oh, it's so easy to get, and then one person will not come and deceive you. Now, in China, there are currently students, especially students from Africa, that they are stranded here in China. Some of them are stranded, and some of them have gone back to their countries. Why? Because somebody promised them full scholarships. Even went as far as, I don't know how they did it, with the admission letter, altering the admission letter or whatever. I don't know how they did it, but they altered the admission letter. Some of them, like, I get a lot of people, like, I have a lot of people in this situation. Some of them I met on TikTok, some of them are currently even here. And they'll tell you, oh, this person told me I'll get a full scholarship. And the first thing I always ask them is, can I see your results? And then when they send their result, I'm like, so you need to look at your result and tell yourself the truth. If you were an admission agent, can you give yourself a full scholarship with your results? So not everybody can get a full scholarship. That's the truth. In fact, not everybody can get a scholarship at all. So if you know your result is not strong enough, instead of looking for somebody that will promise you a full scholarship, or looking for, with that result, you can find other things to help support your application. Now, there are schools that have low requirements, even for scholarships. Yes, schools in the northern side of China, because people really don't like going to the north. It's very cold. It's really, really cold. Schools there have lower requirements, lower school fees, and all that. So this is where you now start doing your research. How can I improve my chances of getting a good scholarship? Instead of trying to convince yourself that, oh, but this person is like, I've had somebody tell me, oh, but my friend is 27 years old and an agent got her a full scholarship for bachelor's degree. And I'm like, wow, this person is going to come to China and then find out that they are not on full scholarship. They are probably not even on any scholarship. Like, it happens here a lot. Like, it happens a whole lot. If you go to Guangzhou, right? I don't know, you people must have heard Guangzhou. There are lots of students working in the factories because it's either they don't, some of them don't even have money to go back to their home country. Some of them were deceived. Some of them were told, oh, your scholarship is for the total duration of your study. Let's say the person came for bachelor's degree, right? Then the person will now be lied to. Your scholarship is for 4 years. And then when the person gets to China, they either find out that they are not on any scholarship, or they end up finding out that their scholarship is just for 1 year. Some of them will not be able to pay, and they would have to start working to maybe raise money to go back home, or they would have to start juggling school, and it's not easy. So I know that when you people see people advertising scholarships online, you automatically think, oh, is that easy? Not everybody will get it, okay? I just wanted to make this point very clear. Some people, I know somebody who applied for scholarship last year. The person wasn't able to get, but the person got this year. So another thing is also, if you're not able to get last year, or if you're not able to get this year, you can still try again. You try again. At least you can find ways to improve your application documents. Okay, don't ever, you see, anything that has to do with going abroad, don't ever go through the desperation road. Like, don't be desperate about it. Anything that has to do with going abroad, don't be desperate. Okay, no matter how it feels, or no matter how good it sounds, don't. So now let's assume you've gotten, yes. Uh okay. So for those of you that will not be able to stay till the end, you can drop the questions in, not in my DM, drop it on the group chat, okay? Okay, so what did you want to know about master's degree? Saying. So I also talked about CGPAs, okay? I talked about GPA, and I talked about CGPA and how important it is to have a 4.0 CGPA over 5. Okay, but then some of you don't know your CGPA system. So in Africa, or let's say in general, we have 4.0 CGPA and 5.0 CGPA. Okay, so let me explain. If maybe in your secondary school or in your university, the grade for A is from 80 or 85 and above, it means that your school has a 4.0 CGPA. But if in your school the grade for A is from 70 and above, it means your school has a 5.0 CGPA. So if you have a 5.0 CGPA, for you to get a full scholarship, like a really good scholarship, as a master's student or as a PhD student, you need to have at least 4.0. Okay, like it's easy. I'm not saying if you have less than 4.0 and you have like maybe you have like 3.8, 3.6, and you have other things that can supplement or support your application, you're good to go. But yeah, 4.0 is the official requirement, 4.0 over 5.0. Now, if your school CGPA system is 4.0, it means that you need to have at least 3.0 over 4.0 to qualify. That's the official requirement. All right. Then if you're a master's student, I've also made that video before. If you're a master's student, I've made that video before. You need to get a supervisor, okay? You need to get a supervisor. Even if you don't have up to 4.0, let's assume, but that is, for master's students, you need to have at least second class upper before you can stand the chance of getting any scholarship. Second class upper before you can stand the chance of getting any scholarship. So for master's students, you need to get a supervisor. Getting a supervisor to give you an acceptance letter is like a free ticket to getting a scholarship. It's automatically, like, in fact, in most scenarios, like, that's automatic scholarship. So let's assume you're applying for a scholarship, right? And you start looking for a supervisor in that university. All you need to do is to check for the professors in the department or faculty that you're applying to. Reach out to them. So let's assume you're applying to, you want to apply for management science, right? You check that Department of Management Science. On every school website, it is there. You're going to find the names of these professors or supervisors there. So you check for the ones in your department, management science, and then you get their contacts and you message them, you send them emails. Tell them you want to be, you need an acceptance letter or recommendation letter from them. And that's that. So if they send you an acceptance letter, that's automatic admission or automatic scholarship. But then if they don't respond to you, because some of them don't even respond to their emails, I'm not even going to lie, you can message like 20 professors and only 3 or 4 would respond to you. Okay, if they're not able to respond to you, in most cases a school can actually be the one to appoint a supervisor for you. But the reason why it's good to get a supervisor is that it gives you, like, once you get a supervisor, they tick your name, admission granted, scholarship granted. Once you get a supervisor, as long as you pass the initial academic review. Academic review is to check your normal, documents, check your age, to make sure you're within the age requirements, okay? Check your age, check your CGPA, check to see if you have all the necessary documents. As long as you've passed this stage and a supervisor gives you an acceptance letter, that's automatic scholarship. You will not need to compete with other people. But if you wait for school to now start giving you, to appoint a supervisor for you, it means you would need to enter the proper competition pool and compete with other people. And if you compete with other people, you might end up finding out that there is somebody with a better result than you. Do you understand? So if you're going for masters or going for, especially masters, make sure you look for a supervisor that will give you an acceptance letter. That's automatic scholarship. Then I also missed out something. If you're going for bachelor's degree, the age requirement is 25 years and below. It means that if you're going for bachelor's degree and you're above 25 years old, you cannot apply for bachelor's, or you cannot even apply for scholarship. If you're going for master's, you need to be 35 years and below. So if you're more than 35 years, you cannot apply for master's. If you're going for PhD, 40 years and below. If you're more than 40, you cannot apply for PhD. That's basically how it works. Then there are some courses that don't really have scholarships. Take for instance, MBA. You will hardly find scholarships for MBA, especially CSE scholarship. I don't think I've seen CSE scholarship for MBA. You would hardly find scholarships for medicine or MBBS. Hardly. In fact, anytime you see a school giving out scholarship for MBBS, number one, is always partial scholarship, and number two, it's always one-time scholarship. Why some would give you scholarship maybe after your first year in MBBS, and then if you did very well, if you performed very well academically, in your second year, they'll give you a one-time scholarship. If you performed exceptionally well again in that second year, in your third year, they'll also give you a one-time scholarship. Like, it's something that you have to fight for every time. Okay, unlike other courses. Other courses have scholarships that can last you throughout the duration of your studies. All right, which brings me to another type of scholarships that we have. Now, there are scholarships that can sustain you. Take for instance, CSE scholarship, New Silk Road scholarship, MOVCOM scholarship, ANSO scholarship. These scholarships and some other university scholarships that I don't know I can't remember their names. Not that I don't know, I can't remember their names. They will last you from your year one till you finish. Then there are also some scholarships that are only one-time scholarships, only in your year one, in your 100 level, in your first year. After your first year, that's it. You start sponsoring yourself. Then there are also other scholarships that they need to evaluate you every year. You need to be evaluated. If you fail a particular course, or if you fail a course, maybe in your 100 level, in your 200 level, let's assume you have a scholarship that has tuition, accommodation, and stipend, and you're not doing well academically. They might remove your tuition, they might remove your accommodation and your stipend, right? If you're not doing very well, they might not remove the entire scholarship totally, but they might remove your accommodation and your stipend if you're not doing very well. So apart from having CSC, MOVCOM, provincial scholarship, CIS scholarship, these are the other types of scholarships based on the duration, how long you get to hold on to that scholarship. Okay, so the best type of scholarship to have is the one where you will be evaluated. As long as you see, for that one, as long as you're not failing any course, as long as you're passing a course, right? You're passing all your courses, you will get to keep your scholarship. Because if you go for all those one-time scholarships, or you go for scholarships where they can go to a particular department and pick out the best three, there are scholarships like that. Avoid, like, if you get an admission letter and you see something like that, you see something like the top 3% of a class, or if you're part of the top 5% of a class, if you see something like that, just don't even bother, unless you can sponsor yourself. But if you cannot sponsor yourself, you can't fund your education, don't bother taking that kind of scholarship, because it means that the top 5% means that in a particular class, maybe there are 50 people in that class, they'll just go there and pick, like, I think 5 people. I don't know if the maths is mathing. might just pick like 3 people or 5 people with the best result. And then the other people will be converted to self-funding students. Okay? If you don't understand anything I'm saying, you guys should just keep your questions. I'll be rounding up in the next 30 minutes or so. So the best time to apply for scholarships is for September intake. March intake doesn't have full scholarships. That's the truth. So if you want to apply for full scholarships and you want to have a lot of options, apply for September intake. Don't bother going for March intake. March intake in China is not common. Okay? If there are 100 schools in China, only 30 schools have March intake. And out of the 30 schools, only like 5 have scholarships. And the scholarships are usually partial scholarships, like 30% scholarship, one-time tuition fee scholarship, all those kind of partial scholarships. Okay, so if you really want to go for no matter what anybody is telling you, because I've been seeing it online, people are advertising full scholarship. No matter what anybody tells you, there aren't any full scholarships for March intake. If you want access to full scholarships and you want to have a wide range of schools to apply to, always go for September intake. Don't bother applying for March intake. March intake is mostly for Chinese language program, self-funding. You'll be the one funding yourself, or for other programs. And these other programs, maybe they were not able to get the number of students they want for that course. So they will now open application for March intake. Do you understand? And then, like I said, there's hardly any, just mostly partial scholarships for March intake. I usually get this question: can I work in China? This is another thing that I think most people don't know, because I've also seen people who were lied to, telling them, oh, when you come to China, you can work, there's work everywhere. It's not true. You're not allowed to work in most part of China, okay? You're not allowed to work. If you're caught working, you're going to be either sent home or you're going to be given a fine. But in places like Shanghai, Shenzhen, Beijing, even Guangzhou, all those places, right? You can do part-time jobs there. They are called internships. So if your goal is to come to China and work, then you should be targeting schools around Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen. See, Shenzhen, if you're coming for tech courses, any tech-related courses, computer science, artificial intelligence, something technology, cybersecurity, target schools in Shenzhen. I'm not even joking. You can get internships in Shenzhen that will be paying you 7,000 RMB a month. Part-time internships in Shenzhen. So these are the places where it is okay for a student to work. You will still need to take permission from your school, but it is generally okay. You can be doing your internships. You can be working and nobody will hold it against you, right? Then in other parts of China, you can work codedly. Like you can work secret, you can work in secret, okay? And the best kind of jobs or the best kind of job to do in all those places are, number one, teaching jobs. So teaching jobs actually pays, it pays very well here in China. So one good teaching job can be paying you like 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 RMB in a month. And the good part of it is you can be doing it just once a week. Once a week for maybe an hour and 30 minutes. Maybe you go to a particular school, the school where you're working, and then you go and teach English there for 1 hour 30 minutes once a week. So that 1 hour 30 minutes, they might be paying you 300 RMB, 250 RMB, thereabouts. Okay, if you're working there twice a week and they're paying you 300 RMB, it means that you're making 600 RMB in a week. So you calculate that in a month is almost like, I think, 2000 something RMB. So, but the truth is, if you're being caught, depending on how strict that city is, if you're caught, you can be sent back home. Okay? You want to start. When is your school resuming? When is your school resuming? You can only start your visa processing close to when your school is resuming. So when you're applying for scholarships, now I'm going to teach you guys how to apply for scholarships, okay? First of all, you need to make sure that all your documents are ready, right? The general documents, the international passport, your passport photo, your police character or non-criminal record, your physical examination, all those requirements that I listed. You need to make sure these requirements are ready. That's number one. Number two, you need to now start researching schools that offer the kind of courses you want to apply for. Okay, so let's assume you want to apply for cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. You need to start looking for schools that offer these two courses. Now, when you find schools that offer these two courses, you will now check the scholarships that they have and the scholarship requirements, because different schools have different requirements for their scholarships. Different requirements for their scholarships. So you need to check. Yes, now go there. You need to check the school and their requirements for their scholarships. That's number two. Number three, if you meet all their requirements, the next thing for you to do is to go to the application portal. The application portal of every school is always on their website. All you need to do is to look for it. Look for the application link. You can go online, type the name of the school, and type application and add application link to it. Okay? So you check the application portal of that school, register, create an account, and then start filling the application. It's as simple as that, actually. Although for some schools, the application portal is somehow complicated, right? But it is something that, as long as you've gone through 5 years in secondary school, is something you can do by yourself. So how to apply for a scholarship? Step one, make sure that all the general requirements that I listed, I'll be posting them on the group chat. Make sure you have them. That's step one. Step two, write down the courses you want to study. Okay, and make sure you don't have courses in mind. Maybe you want cyber security or artificial intelligence. Have them in mind. It's always good to have 3 options. Now, when you have 3 courses in mind, you can now go on your browser and start, or you even ask ChatGPT, or you ask any of these DeepSeek or ChatGPT. You can ask it to tell you, to give you the list of schools that are offering those courses you want to study. Do you understand? Then, when you get the list of schools that are offering those courses, you go through their websites very well. The thing is, it's time consuming, but it's something you have to do. You go through their website very well and check their own, because every school has different requirements. So you check the school's requirements and also check their scholarship offers. So check their scholarship requirements and their scholarship offer. Then when you found the particular scholarship you want to apply for, you check for the school's application portal on their website. Every school has their application portal on their website. Once you check it, the next thing for you to do is to create an account on the application portal, and then select the courses that are available. Maybe you want to apply for computer science, select computer science, and that school has computer science. Select computer science and start filling up the application form. Once you fill up the application form, you click submit, and then you wait to hear from the school. That's it. That's basically how to apply. Okay? So make sure you have all documents. You have your study plan, your research proposal. That's if you're going for masters, you need research proposal. If you're going for bachelor's, you need to have only study plan. And then another thing that I want to tell you guys, if you're applying to a particular school and this school tells you write a study plan of 800 words, please ensure you write only 800 words. Don't write more than or less than. Okay? Do not write more than or less than. Because if you do, that's like, you guys understand where I'm headed to, right? So yeah, your study plan, make sure that all the requirements that the school is asking for, you upload all those requirements. And that is that. So if you guys want me to repeat how to apply for scholarship, I'm going to repeat it again because this is the question I get all the time. Now, step 1, make sure that all the requirements I'm going to be sending on the group chat, that you have all those requirements. You have international passport, study plan, bank statement, non-criminal record, physical examination form. You have all those things, right? Number 2, you need to make a list of 3 courses that you want to study. Don't ever stick to one because you're looking for scholarship. Do you understand? So write down 3 courses you want to study and then use ChatGPT or DeepSeek to find out the universities that offer these courses. When you narrow down the universities that offer these courses, start their website one by one. Start checking out the scholarships that they have. If they have good scholarships, there are some schools that you go through their website, you find out that none of the scholarships there, like they don't have any, apart from CSE scholarship, right, which is very competitive. They don't have any reasonable university scholarship or provincial scholarship. They probably will have only one-time scholarship or partial scholarship, right? Forget schools like that. You move on to the next school. Make sure that any school you're applying to has a really good scholarship. And then when you find the scholarship that has good benefit, step 3 now would be to go through the scholarship requirements and deadlines, an application deadline. So when you've gone through the scholarship requirements, you go back to your file and check, do I have all these requirements? If you don't have them, you work towards getting them. You want, like, let's say there is something missing, there's one or you work towards completing it. Once you've seen that you're very much eligible for this scholarship, like you've met all the requirements, the next thing for you to do is to go back to that website and look for school application portal or application link. It's with that application link that you will now create an account. After creating an account, it will bring you to a place where you're supposed to select either master's or bachelor's or PhD, right? Some of them will even show you the scholarships that they have. You will now click on the one you want to apply for. This is why you need to do your research on the website first before going to the application portal. Okay? So take for instance, if it's entrance, there's a scholarship called entrance. And then you go to it, I think it's either Dalian University or Harbin. One of them has that scholarship, right? You go to the school website, you see requirement that this is a full scholarship. When you go to the application portal, what you will now do is to click on that entrance scholarship. Click on it, click on maybe undergraduate or master's or PhD, whichever one you're going for. And then you start filling the application form. Chikina, like, period, period. Like, that's basically it. And then you submit. The thing is, it sounds easy, but it can be very overwhelming. You need to really calm down, research, do this one, do that one. It's very overwhelming. I'm not even going to lie, okay? But that's basically how to apply for a scholarship. And then I also need to let you people know that when you're applying for a scholarship, try to use other email addresses apart from Gmail. You can use outlook.com. The reason why is that when you're registering on the application portal, a verification link is supposed to be sent to your email. And most times, from my experience applying for other people, most times when you use Gmail, some schools you will not actually get the verification link from some schools. So it's better for you to also have another email, maybe outlook.com or Hotmail. Don't use Yahoo Mail. They don't like Yahoo Mail. I don't know why. Okay? Use them and they're not sending you any verification. You register with your Outlook or your Hotmail, whichever one you want to use. Yes, there's an age restriction for masters. It's 35 years for some schools, 30 years for other schools. So okay guys, so this is where I'll be stopping. If you want further guidance, I actually have a paid guidance group where I guide students on how to apply for scholarships, on like literally guide them step by step. I have study plan templates that I have curated, research proposal templates that I've curated. I will also guide you on how to, there are ways that you're supposed to message a supervisor and all that. Basically, the step-by-step guidance on how to apply for scholarship, self-funding, admissions here in China, okay? So if you want further guidance, you can just DM me and then I'll give you the details of the guidance group. And then also, I also help students secure scholarships, but before I can work with you, I'd have to evaluate your result and then tell you the kind of scholarship that your result can get for you, or the kind of scholarship that your application documents can get for you. With that being said, the floor is open for questions. So let me start with, are there students resuming in China till now? Because I just want to start my visa processing probably next week. So if you want to start your visa processing, you need to check your admission letter to be sure that your school's resumption time has not yet passed. Because if it has passed, you cannot apply for visa. And if your school resumption time is still far, maybe in March, maybe your school is resuming in March, I would not advise you apply for visa now, because your visa is only supposed to last for 3 months, okay? And it's supposed to last for 3 months so that when you come to China, you can then apply for resident permit. And if you come to China now and your school is not supposed to resume till, nobody's going to give you a resident permit, okay? Olive 23 asked this question: would you recommend an agent when applying for scholarship or self-application? An agent is supposed to make your life easier. If you can apply on your own, that's fine. But the job of an agent is to make your life easier and also position you for a really good scholarship. So like when I apply for my students, I make sure to position them for a good scholarship. Okay, sometimes when they tell me the course they want, I look at their results and see the course that I know they are more likely going to get, and I suggest to them, oh, okay, I understand you want this course, but you're going for a scholarship. I think you should consider these courses, seeing that you did very well in this subject, in that subject, stuff like that. So yes, you can use an agent if he's a trusted agent. It will make your life easier. And if it's an agent that is already here in China, better, because they have direct access to schools. They can easily go to a school or easily call them. Do you understand? So whether self-application or scholarship, you can use an agent. The bank statement is usually $2,500 or the equivalent. So for some schools, they would request for $2,500 or the equivalent of $2,500 in your currency. While some schools will request for $3,000 or the equivalent of $3,000 in your currency. Okay. So yeah, and there was something I forgot to mention about bank statement, right? Now, for bank statement, you can use anybody's bank statement. Like you can use your brother's bank statement, your mom's bank statement, even your family friend's bank statement. But you also need to make sure that that person will have enough money in their account, your visa processing. Because let's assume you're using my bank statement to apply. My name will be written on your JW202. Your JW202 is your visa form, okay? My name will be written on your JW202 as your financial sponsor. So in case you don't get a full scholarship, it means that you still need to provide my bank statement for visa. So that's one thing you need to know about bank statements. Okay, so a study plan is basically you detailing your academic achievements. Don't talk much about your personal, don't really talk about your personal life. Just talk about your academic achievements. That's number one. Talk about your motivations for wanting to study in China and for wanting to study that course, right, that you want to study. Talk about the reason why you want to study in that school. And then also talk about what you intend to do with that course you want to study once you graduate, and talk about the future projects you'll be doing in the school. So even if you're an undergraduate student, you will definitely be doing projects in your 400 level, right? So you need to talk about the kind of project you would want to do, how long it will take you, and all those stuff. Do you understand? But the most important thing is talk about your previous academic achievements. Talk about why you want to come to China, why you want to study, for instance, computer science, why you want to study computer science, why you want to study in Chongqing University, for instance, okay? And then how you intend on carrying out your the main study plan is detailing what you'll be doing. In your year one, I'll be doing my core subject courses. In my year two, I'll be doing so. In my year three, I'll be doing this and that. And in my 400 level, I'll be doing Guinea core and Guinea core. Okay? And then you also talk about how that your course of study will help your country and China as well. You need to talk about it. So yeah, that's what a study plan is all about. And please don't make the mistake of going to ChatGPT and telling it to write a study plan for you. You can use it as a guide, but don't do that. They will know you're using AI. Trust me. Yeah, if you just want to study language, like I said, and you want a scholarship for studying language, you need to have HSK, okay? But if you want to go for self-study, then you don't need HSK. Self-study means you'll be the one paying your school fees and accommodation and all that. So yeah. And language courses don't have age requirements if you're the one sponsoring yourself. HSK is Chinese language proficiency exam. So it's just like, IELTL or TOEFL or Duolingo test, right? Is the Chinese language equivalent of IELTS. It's just a Chinese language proficiency test. So the HSK is the certificate that you get. There is HSK 1, HSK 2, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So for a 1-year language program, for a 1-year language program scholarship, you need HSK 3. For 4 years language program scholarship, you need HSK 4. For master's language program scholarship, you need HSK 5. All right? Oh, Kosi, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate. Um, Khan TV, you can message me directly on WhatsApp. Oh yes, yes. I recently talked about the CSCA on my TikTok page. I recently talked about it. Some schools already started implementing it this year. So during this year's application, some of my students wrote exams, right? So they plan on implementing it full time for next year. That's for September intake. Yeah, for September intake. The thing is, a lot of people are coming into China. China is seeing a lot of international students. It wasn't like this 4, 5 years ago, right? It wasn't like this. So they are trying to, they are trying to limit the number of people that are coming into China, and they really want to make sure the people coming into China are the best in terms of academic qualification, because you already know that China doesn't verify certificates. In fact, you can upload a fake document, right? A fake document, and the where they will most like where you would most likely be caught is during your visa processing. But during the application process, they don't really verify documents from schools. But you see, during your visa processing, if you use a fake document, you'll be caught. And if you're caught, your name, everything, all your details will be sent back to China. Your admission will be revoked, and you'll be banned from ever studying in China. But there are some people that have also found a way to maneuver it. So they are really trying to limit um, admitting students that are not academically qualified. That was why they brought about this exam. I don't know if every school is going to implement it, but I know majority of the schools will implement it, okay? And the entrance exam is not that hard. It's mostly objectives, and some schools would actually give you curriculum, like areas of interest. Take for instance, Harbin Institute of Technology, Harbin Institute of Science and Technology will give you area of concentration. Okay, they'll give you topics to concentrate on, right? And it's usually on, I think, two subjects or 3 subjects. So for computer science, it's usually on maths and physics, and I think chemistry is part of it. So yeah, it's not that difficult, it's not that hard. How to get HSK? Well, the best way to get HSK is to start studying for it. Okay, so you can go on YouTube and just type HSK. You can start reading, start studying, get materials, or you come to China and do 1 year program, 1 year Chinese language program, but you have to pay your school fees yourself. When you're done with the 1 year Chinese language program, you write the HSK test, maybe HSK 3 or whichever one you're ready for. That is how you get it. So you want to study nursing in China. If you want to study nursing in China, right, and you want to get a job, I'm not saying that there are high chances you will get a job here, but there are chances you will get a job here as a nurse if you really know how to speak Chinese very well. Okay? If you know how to speak Chinese very well, you can get jobs in Shanghai, Beijing, and all those places. You can actually get a job. But not in every part of China. I'm not going to lie to you that you're going to get a every part of China, no. Oh yeah, you can message me, but I'll be responding to your messages tomorrow because it's currently 1 o'clock. It's currently 1 a.m. in China, so for my private application process, please you people should message me about that, okay? Message me. Guys, I'm still here. The Chinese traditional medicine is mostly offered in Chinese. You would hardly see it offered in English. Only few schools offer it in English. HSK or Chinese language program. Yes, if you're a master student in China, you need to write HSK before you graduate. In fact, if you're a student in China, you need to write HSK exams before you can graduate, basically. Yeah. Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, they are quite expensive, but it's going to balance out for you because in terms of food, right? I don't know if you guys have watched my video. You can literally order anything on an app called Pindodo. So there's this app called Pindodo. You can order anything on that app, and no matter your location, right? No matter your location, everything is the same price on that app. So even if I'm in Chongqing and I'm ordering from that app, someone that is in Shenzhen will also order from the same app at that same price. So if you're going to find yourself in Beijing, Shanghai, it means two things. The standard of living there is high, but you also have the chance to work. Yeah, you have the chance to work. And it means that you have to find a way to adjust life. But if you're really doing a really good job that is paying you very well, like there are jobs that can be paying you 8,000, 9,000 RMB, right? Depending on the number of times you're doing the job. So if you're really doing a good job that is paying you well, you're not going to have you're not going to feel the cost of living, basically. You're not going to feel it. In general, live where you're going to feel it is in accommodation and and maybe hanging out, going to eat out, going to the mall, all those places, going for sightseeing. But in terms of living, like living, like eating and all those things, you can order anything you want online. In terms of buying clothes, you can order, like you hardly see international students going to the mall to buy anything. You order everything online, everything. So where you are going to have a little bit of an issue in terms of high cost is accommodation. Yeah. So if you're going to Shenzhen, you're going to Beijing, you're going to Shanghai, it will still balance out because you can walk. But if you go to all these other cities where you cannot walk, it's still the same thing. Okay? IS, yes, it's a must. As long as you're applying for CIS scholarship, it is a must. Okay? Um, do you guys have any more questions? I want to go to the group chat and answer the questions over there. Do you guys have any more questions? If you have any questions, please drop them here. Drop them. I'm still here. Hello, guys. Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't record this video. I don't even know why. Life in China is okay. Life in China is actually okay, but some schools are very strict, especially on African students. Ouch. So if your dorm can be doing like dorm checkup, you know how they do it in secondary school, in boarding schools, right? Yeah. So they can come by 11 p.m. every day to check the number of students that are in their dormitory. So, like, you literally feel like you're in secondary school. But there are some schools that can allow you live outside of the school, that's off campus. So if you can actually, I always advise students, if you go to a school where you can live off campus, if you can, please do live off campus. Because during the COVID, people who were living inside the school, they were not allowed to live. Like they were not, like, I don't advise people to live in the dormitory. But the dormitory is very okay. It's actually like it's usually well furnished. But every apartment in China is also well furnished. Most apartments come with refrigerators, washing machines, gas. Like you don't need to literally buy anything. Just pack your things and come to China. Like and come to the apartment or come to the dormitory. Okay? So yeah. Sometimes you can see in the dormitories usually have single rooms that you can share on your own. They usually have double rooms that you can share with one other person, and triple rooms or quadruple rooms that you can share with 4 people. Sometimes you see dormitories that have kitchen in a room, like a kitchen will be in a room, right? While some dormitories have shared kitchen, like every floor will have like a very big kitchen where everyone can, cook their normal stuff. But dormitories in China, they are very neat, extremely neat. They are well taken care of, trust me. They are very, very, very neat. And they always come furnished. No, it's not hard to cope. Speaking Chinese is actually very easy. what you're going to find a little bit hard is writing, right? Writing. But for HSK, you don't need to know how to write it because HSK is now computer based. So for HSK, you only need to learn the Chinese characters and then learn how to read them and identify them. That is the hard part in Chinese. Speaking Chinese is very easy. I swear to God, if you put your mind in learning how to speak Chinese in 2 months, like put your whole mind in it, in 2 months you can learn how to speak Chinese. But what's really difficult is the Chinese character is not so easy. Physiotherapy, you would have to check the schools that you want to apply to, okay? You would have to check if the school that if the school that offers, because not all schools offer this 1 year Chinese language um plus 4 years bachelor's scholarship. Not all schools. So you have to check the schools that offer them and check if they offer this physiotherapy. If you've not yet graduated, maybe you're in your last year, you can go to your school, tell them to give you a statement of result and your transcript. You can use that to apply. Okay, guys. Yes, they offer MBBS in English. They offer MBBS in English. Okay, guys. It was nice seeing you guys. English. If you're applying for scholarships, make sure you don't fail. Like there's no course or subject that is written as in your certificate. So this work down that you're talking about, if you apply for a scholarship and you're seeing an F there, you're not going to get that scholarship. You won't. You're not going to get that scholarship for real. Yeah. Um, there are some Chinese teachers that are really good at speaking English. Why some of them Chinglish, Chinese English, Chinese plus English together, right? Yeah, yeah. If you're here in China, you're going to be taking classes on the weekend. Okay, you're going to find yourself taking classes on the weekend, even going to classes. In fact, your classes can last. You even be having classes at night, maybe from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Master scholarship with second class lower. There is hope. Oh. I'm not going to tell you there's no hope, but it's not so easy, especially if you're looking for a full scholarship. Partial scholarship, maybe. Yeah, you're 20 years, so you're still within the age requirement. You can apply. Just make sure that you provide what you were doing within that 2 years, okay? There are no scholarships for medicine, for MBBS. I said it here. MBBS is self-funding, And then there are few schools, very few schools, that will give you partial scholarship. So there are no scholarships for MBBS, okay? Okay, guys, thank you guys for joining this live section. This is coming to an end. I am completely tired, and this is approximately 2 hours. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate. I'll answer the remaining questions on the group chat, okay? If you want to know about the private guidance, please chat me up. I'll respond to you tomorrow. Alright guys, it was really nice talking with you guys. Take care. Bye.